Okay, so welcome back to day 5 of the Digital Marketing Certified Associate course. I hope you had a good weekend, or rather, I hope you had a good week, and your weekend has just about begun. I will start off with a quick recap of where we were last week. So we got an introduction into social media, right? That's where we were. I walked you through the details of options of how social media basically plays an integral role in today's world, where businesses want to make sure that they get noticed. I spoke about how you have blogs, which are very, very powerful in being able to ensure multiple things in terms of getting a ton of volumes in terms of traffic to your website. It also helps you get established as a thought leader in your space. And I also briefly spoke about how you want to design your editorial calendar to make sure that you have content coming up through the year at specific intervals. So that is where we were with respect to the introduction. We continue the journey today, and we will commence with microblogs, right? So when we look at microblogs, we are essentially looking at platforms where you send in very short messages, and the leader amongst microblogging platforms is clearly Twitter, and we'll learn a lot more about that in today's session. So microblogging essentially is, as you can see, short, quick, measured messages, short sentences. You want to build followership, you want to build engagement, and microblogging is really an effective way to broadcast your message, because you really don't have too much of space to say too many things, unlike other platforms like Facebook, for instance, where you can create long form posts. So here, this is really about microblogs are used as a broadcasting tool. We wouldn't want to get into too many platforms there. The focus is going to be Twitter. So the whole point is this: we already communicate, and today the communication channel has evolved. And while these channels do exist, where you have phone, you have radio, you have all the traditional networks, it has moved on to social networks, which is why today when you listen to radio, right, you will see a lot of brands advertising and cross-promoting their digital assets. A radio channel would say, if you like the show, tweet back to us, or a promo or a 10-second ad or a jingle on your radio channel will basically also promote a Twitter or a Facebook page that the company has. So it has become a hybrid cross promotion today. That's how communicators broadcast, and that's how things work. The key benefits: it's quick, it's easy. Most microblogging, in fact, all microblogging platforms that there are have mobile users as the predominant platform from where people blog or send messages. So it just takes a few seconds. You can use multiple devices, but the mobile phone seems to be the preferred platform, especially for microblogging. And you can select whom you want to follow. You can select the topics you want to look into. You can do all of that stuff. And you can connect to other platforms via your microblog. So that's, again, something that I will show you in time. All right. So continuing with our journey, microblogging, we're looking at Twitter. It has a tremendous user base. It has an amazing array of app choices, and it also has very powerful search functionality. Now, let me just look at that. Yeah, absolutely, Harish. Right, so thanks for that. So let me just quickly log in and look into some of the links that I can share. So app choices, as I mentioned, you have I will look at the apps there. Fundamentally, when we look at the adoption, we're looking at close to 320 million monthly active users worldwide. Okay, so that is the kind of reach that you have with a microblogging platform such as Twitter. In fact, I shouldn't say such as Twitter. This is specific to Twitter. So you have more than 320 million subscribers. I'm just sharing my Twitter screen here, my Twitter app. So this, for instance, is my my Twitter handle, right? And we will look into this in a while. App choices, you have a lot of apps. You have the native Twitter app that you can download and use, whether it's an iOS or an Android device. You can also do a lot of advanced stuff. You have tools like Tweetbot. You have Tweetbot is again for Apple devices. What it does, if you're a power user of Twitter, you will understand that these enhance your abilities further. Okay, so we have tools like Tweetbot, and I'm going to show you that. So these applications basically, for those of you who are new to Twitter, these applications or these tools, right? Tweetbot, it basically is it kind of does advanced stuff. It helps you manage your lists better. It is ideally for a little more advanced users, people who use the channel. It basically also cuts down ads. You can clean that up, and as you can see, it is improved user profiles, optimized status details. So this is if you have a iOS phone. If you have an Apple device, then this becomes a preferred app. And then there's a similar app called Tweetcaster for Android. Okay, so this is your and there are several tools. There are several niche tools. A lot of tools that most of us wouldn't use. That is very, very advanced. That is for professional marketers who have who keep looking at Twitter as a source of business networking and messaging and advertising. So there are those many tools as well. So look at this: 10 million users have actually downloaded Tweetcaster. So this is what, and Tweetcaster again is for Android devices, very similar to what Tweetbot does. So it is enhancing your Twitter user experience. Fundamentally, that's what it is. And you have a strong array of network choices. What do I mean by that? Right, network integration. So you are able to now, through your Twitter account, distribute advertisements that can go across multiple apps which are non-Twitter apps. So if somebody's playing a video game, if you've downloaded a video game that you're playing on Farmville or any of those games that you download and run and play on your mobile device, which has nothing to do with the Twitter app, through the Twitter advertising platform, you can also make sure that your ads appear on those apps. So that is the power of the network integration that Twitter provides. In fact, your tweets and your Twitter ads can now go and reach across more than 1 billion unique devices through Twitter and through your Twitter ads. Then you also have advanced search functionality. So not only can you do amazing amount of searches on Twitter, let me just demonstrate that to you. If I'm on Twitter, if I want to search for whatever, right, molded plastics. Right, so as you can see, there's so many accounts, or there are these companies or individuals that have molded plastics in their Twitter handle. So Twitter handle is your name on Twitter. So for me, for example, if you look at the URL, my Twitter handle is @this. So if I'm looking for molded plastics, I have this, or I can also just hit a search. Now, not only will Twitter, out of those 320 million, and there are 320 million active users, there are more users who are not really very active. So Twitter basically searches through all of that and gives you a bunch of tweets. Right? You see this? In this example, this is the profile of this brand of this company. This is a company, they have, molded plastics in their information here. So you see molded products, and that is how this word has come up. And then this has molded and plastics. That's why this account has come up, and their tweet is visible. This is a list of top tweets. This tells you which is live, so which messages are being tweeted right now with the word molded plastics in it. And as you can see, here's one, and this happened on April 24th. Well, that isn't too recent, so let me just look at molded plastics as one word. So if I want to search for a word, what I typically do is this. Right, I search for molded plastics, and as you can see now, Twitter is looking for tweets that have this exactly the way it is, without a space, molded plastics. So here in the profile, I see molded plastics. If I look at live, let me see if there's anybody tweeting with this. Not right now. And then let me try the same word with a hashtag. If there is no hashtag designed for this word, you will not see a hashtag. But if I look at a hashtag and I say plastic, let me see if this gives me some results. Okay. Here I'm getting something, right? You see this? Hash plastic, hash pollution. So people use hashtags on Twitter. Hashtags, again, works very well on Instagram and a bunch of other tools as well. Hashtags also work for Facebook, but I have not seen hashtags being used very, very heavily on Facebook, because on Facebook you basically tend to tag people and tag groups that you want them to notice your messages. And there are other techniques you use on Facebook and other platforms, but on Twitter, hashtag is a very powerful way to get noticed, as you can see here. And let us say if somebody has put this, the music industry's battle against plastic junk. So that seems to be the theme. And here there's also music. So now I'm shifting and looking at music as the word around which I want to search for content on Twitter. You see this hashtag on my search changed to music. I could also remove hash and search for music. I will still get a lot of tweets that has the word music in them. Right, but a more effective way to discover tweets with the word music, you see this? Now music is here in the description of the Twitter handle. Music is again here, there's music here, there's music here. But if I want to look at the tweets with the word music in it, I'm going to use a hash. And now you see that the word music is in the hashtags. So there's all this, there's music here, and there's music here. And these are all the top tweets, the tweets that have been retweeted, that have been liked the most, that are very, very popular. And if I want to see what is happening right now, the most recent live tweet with the word hash music in it. Anyway, all right. So this is an example of tweets with hash music in it, because that is the word that I'm searching for. So this is the account. This is how search works. And if you go onto Google, and if I'm looking for, I'm searching for something, right? So I'm searching for plastic, right? There's a lot of plastic related information, but if I look for plastic on Google with hash, right, now I can also see, you see this? Instagram tweets with hashtag plastic. I can see Twitter feeds with hash plastic. So these are all tweets. If I look at this, right, as you can see, there are multiple posts that have come up with hash plastic. So my tweets also become searchable. That is the whole point. Okay. So these are all tweets that are searchable now on Google. So this is what it is. You have tremendous ability to search around any topic that you're interested in. News and updates is really what people use Twitter for the bulk of their social media needs. And of course, Twitter is also used for listening into customer conversations, opinions that people are sharing, and what people have to say about a brand or a product. Right? What do people share typically? These are instances of examples of what people use Twitter. How many of you actually use Twitter heavily? If you do, just let me know on the chat window. If you don't, that's also fine. If you don't put a message on the chat window, I'm going to assume that you are not heavily using Twitter. Okay. Yeah. So then I can basically then go deeper if I need to, based on your understanding of the platform. So these are examples of what kind of links people share on Twitter. And as you can see, people put in their messages with short links, right? bit.ly/flicks. So this is an example of how people put in their messages. right? There are questions, there are opinions, there are controversial bits of information that keep coming in, and people keep putting up their information. So that's how Twitter works. And because of that, the guideline is that you don't become a Twitter wanderer. Because on Twitter, it is extremely easy to get lost. You can just keep going, you can keep jumping, hashtags, and you will always keep going into interesting articles, interesting information, whatever topic you choose. Now look at this trends. These are the hashtags that seem to be trending, right? So if I look at this, I don't know what this is. I can do it 2016. So let's take a look. This seems to be the high trending hashtag. And if I keep scrolling, I can keep going down and I keep looking, right? So, okay, this seems to be Dr. Wayne Dyer, who passed away. Yeah, Wayne Dyer, butterfly story, so humorous, I can do it. So basically, people seem to be tweeting around this person who was a spiritual guide, leader, speaker, motivational speaker, etc. And these hashtags seem to be in line with something to do with him. I will have to dig deeper to find out why him. This is Wayne Dyer. This is a person. And this seems to be a hashtag trending in his memory. But this is how you have trending hashtags, right? So Prabha, no, even if you missed last week's classes, you do want to certainly take a look at the recordings, but it is fine if you can just join in. What I'm covering today is independent of what you've seen in the previous sessions. Today is all about social media, so I'm going to walk through various social media channels, what you can do with them, etc. So that's fine, okay? So this is an example of how you look at hashtags. So don't be a Twitter wanderer. Decide what you want to do on Twitter and why you are there. So establish clear goals. The goals that you should have from a business perspective is build credibility, and that is one of the ways, that is one of the most popular reasons why businesses, organizations, and companies use Twitter, and so do individuals, right? So it builds credibility. You want to spark interest, build buzz, and circulate links and broadcast your links to your blogs, to your videos, to your Facebook page, to your contests, to your coupons, to whatever it is that you want to get people's attention towards. You want to listen, adjust, and pivot. Listen meaning you want to listen to what people are saying about your brand, and you might want to use that as feedback and go back. In fact, a lot of companies, as I said, have recently meaning over the last few years, have started integrating their Twitter account into their customer service department. So there are people, so if you go to, a lot of brands do this. If you're looking at, let us say, customer service, you will see a lot of brands having listening posts using Twitter. In India, Twitter is a new tool to troll political parties and celebrities, but usage of Twitter for customer service from Indian government is remarkable. Yeah. So as I said, a lot of brands, a lot of businesses across are adopting to this. If you look at a company, let's say Godrej Appliances. Godrej is a very popular brand. For those of you in India would recognize this brand instantly. They are into multiple businesses. So if let us say I'm looking at Godrej Appliances and I want to get Godrej Appliances to listen to me, I have a complaint to make, right? Or I really want them to notice something. I don't follow them, they don't follow me. Right, that's the way it is at this point in time. As you can see, this follow button is it says follow, which means I'm not yet following this account. So if I click on this, then I start following this account. But right now, I don't want to. Let us assume I want to send a complaint to them saying, my refrigerator isn't working or something. What I will do is I'll take a note of their Twitter handle. Okay, and I can go and when I click tweet, this appears in my own Twitter headline. So I'm going to say my recent Godrej appliance I last week isn't working. Okay, so if I do this, what happens is this tweet appears on my timeline. Since I have mentioned @Godrej Appliance, it is directly going to go into Godrej Appliances notifications. So if they go into their notifications, like they will see a message saying message from me saying that this is a complaint or something that I have put. They get a notification because I put the @Godrej Appliance in my tweet, and they're going to notice that. So I will show this to you how it works. So now I'm going home. I'm going to meaning my Twitter account, right? So here, if I go into notifications, and then there are specific messages sent to me with @Program Online, then those are the messages that I will see here. As you can see, there are people who have sent me messages directly. These are people who are following me, which is why you don't see the @. But if you look at mentions, you see this @Program Online. Thank you for attending the grand opening. So Red Academy is thanking me, and they have put this. So I get this not only in my Twitter stream, but I also get this in my mentions. And based on my settings, I can choose to make sure that if I am being mentioned on any tweet by anybody anywhere in the world, then I need to get a direct email. So all of those are opportunities or ways in which brands and companies listen to what people have to say and connect and listen and build credibility. Yeah, there's a button under the name. We can tweet from there too. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, then we have retweets. This goes to their public feed. If you put @mention, it is going to be on your public feed, but it is going to go to them in their mentions. Since you don't follow them yet, it may not go into their main feed. But if you're following them, it could have. Okay. Tweets are limits, as you can see here, 140 character messages. Yeah. Retweets, tweets that are reposted by another user. Retweets are very, very powerful, right? So let's look at this example. If there's an article here and this person is tweeting this, right? So let us say you have these social icons, and she clicked on one of these social icons to share this page as a link on her Twitter account. Let's say she has these many followers, and there are people who are following her, right? So in all their feeds, they will typically see this tweet coming in because they're following her, right? Out of the people that are following her, let's assume that these 6 people chose to retweet that message. They saw this, you see this icon, it is basically your retweet account, and in turn they have an average of 100 followers. You're looking at 202 retweets into average of 100 followers. 20,000 plus users are going to basically get access. So the way it works is this, right? I'm just going to go to my home, and I'll show you how this happens live. So here you see these are all the streams. Business Insider has tweeted something, and because I follow Business Insider, you see this? There's this tick mark which says that I'm already following them. Their Twitter messages come into my Twitter feed. Now, if I like this, I can click on this and retweet. Now, this already has been retweeted twice, or it has been liked by 3 people. So if I retweet this, I click on retweet, I can add a comment and I retweet this, right? So I look at what I have retweeted. So if I want to look at only my tweets, I go into this. This exclusively lists my tweets. And this is an example of my retweet, right? This tweet was originally tweeted by Inc. This says that I retweeted this, right? It says you retweeted, which is you meaning me in this context. And it has been retweeted by 39 others. That's what this is. Here's an example where I have again retweeted this message, but in my message I have also put in these hashtags to kind of get this noticed. One person has liked this, and if I look at Twitter activity on my version of the tweet, this tweet has received 166 impressions, which means 166 people should have seen this retweet that I tweeted. and 2 people have clicked on the profile, 1 person has liked it. This is what we are trying to, or I'm trying to demonstrate here when I look at the power of retweets. So this is the kind of place where it works amazingly well as a broadcast medium. So why have I used hashtags digital marketing, #email geeks? Because this is topical. This tweet is relevant to audiences who are interested in these topics. And people who are following these topics with a hashtag will be able to discover my tweet. And that is the whole idea. Right? So there are different things that I have tweeted about. Right here, I said 100 inbound marketing statistics, and if I click on this, there you go. Share by direct message, copy link to tweet, embed tweet. I can pin this. I can do whatever. And if I look at the tweet activity, this tweet has gone to 147 people. So that is how I can actually measure what is the popularity of each tweet. I can go very advanced. I can look at this. This is a brief analytics. It tells me that over the last 1 week, I have earned 1,074 impressions through a variety of tweets. And this tells me the number of impressions I gained on each of these days in the last week. Right? And in due course, I will also show you the analytics to give you a sense of how I can analyze these details further to see which were my most popular tweets, which were the tweets that who is following me the most. All of that is what I can analyze. So that gets into analytics and measurement. I'll get there in a while. So this is why retweets matter. And then you have a concept called lists. When you build a list, what happens is it is like putting some structure to the Twitter activity, right? So if there are millions of people tweeting and you're following a lot of Twitter accounts, you very specifically want to, let us say, want to follow conversations around a topic, or you want to basically be on top of what a bunch of individuals are saying with respect to a particular topic. In this example, right, Jennifer is following, she's created a list called Market Motor, and she has, she's following 13 and the 4 people out of this 13 people are following her, and these are people on the list. Now your list can also include people whom you do not follow. Like I am on a list of several, I'm on several lists. I don't know them. People have come, they've seen my tweets, they've liked what I'm tweeting, and they've added me onto their list. Okay? If your followers receive your tweets, it will be considered as impressions. Yes, correct. So this is an example of a list where I can build my own list. Why lists work? I can create a group around an industry based on my interest. I can quickly access specific topics, because otherwise, every second there's somebody tweeting about something. If I'm following, 5,000 people, there's such a lot of Twitter noise going on. It's like a constant, unending chatter. And I want to distill only those tweets that matter to me for my business. I want to know if somebody is searching for my products. So out of thousands and millions of tweets that I might potentially see in a day, I very specifically want to look at, either brand mentions, or if people are talking about complaints, or if people are talking about requirements that I can satisfy as a business. So I can create multiple lists. This also helps in building up goodwill. You can end up discovering voices and people who are either your fans or people who have unique opinions, and you can basically look into their recommendations and opinions and help in your own business endeavors. And you can follow people without following them, because you include them into your list. Right, so this is how it works. I can go in here. I can get into settings, and I get into my lists. Right, if I click on lists, then as you can see, I have created 2 lists. There are 2 lists here. This has 3 members, and this has 3 members. In this list, I'm calling it marketing infographics, but really what this list is all about is identifying a bunch of people. As you can see here, recently I had members. I can view all to see all members who are on this list. I have 3 at the moment. It is listing all 3 of them. This is what the list is. It's a public list that I have created. There are 3 members and 0 subscribers. So I can edit this. I can change this marketing insights. and I can give a description. I can say, tweets around infographics related to digital marketing, and I can keep it as a private list or as a public list. Okay, and then tweets specifically by these individuals who are part of this list are tweets that I see. In this case, I happen to be following all these three. Even if I was not following them, I could still include them in my list. Right? As you can see, there are tweets from these individuals or these people have added to my list. So this is an example of how list works. Okay. What should you be tracking on Twitter? Customer service, as I mentioned, buzz and chatter, who's talking about your brand, who's saying something positive, who's saying something negative, who's neutral, right? Impact on sales. So if you're a business, if you're doing a funnel, or you're doing a shopping cart activity, and what is the impact that people are making on your sales? If people are returning your products, what are people talking about? Because not all times do people don't necessarily send you direct customer feedback forms. They don't fill in there, but people go and talk about whatever they have to say on their social channels. So you want to listen to that and see what the impact is happening on your sales, the traffic, and the links. So you're looking at building traffic and link building through Twitter. Right? These are ways in which you can attract a lot of traffic. So look at this example, right? Neil Patel has said how to create mobile-friendly content, and there's a link that directly links to his blog post where he is talking about an article related to how to create mobile-friendly content. Right? So this is an example of how you could include your own links and tweet about your links on your Twitter account. Okay? There are plenty of tools that, as I said, can help you improve the power of your Twitter handle. You can integrate tweets into your blog, into your site. In fact, WordPress has a plugin where you can rope in your Twitter feeds into your WordPress blog. So on your homepage, you can have a small section there where the most recent tweets are shown on your own website homepage. So you can integrate tweets. You have dedicated programs and tools and desktop apps that you can build and use, which are Twitter powered. You have mobile apps like I showed you, Tweetbot, those kinds of tools. Twitter itself gives you schedulers, lists, you have and account management tools that you can integrate. It's very, very convenient. It helps you manage your entire Twitter presence. We looked at search, and you can also research influencers. You want to know who influencers are within your industry. This is a very, very powerful way to do that. Okay, so let me just look at that. Give me the name of any topic that you might want to look for or your industry. So let's say used bikes, furnitures. Okay, furniture. So if I'm talking about furniture and if I'm distributing furniture, if I'm in that business, I want to look at accounts that have the word furniture in them. So let me see. These are all the profiles that have furniture. See, aspiring furniture markets. I don't know who this person is, but as you can see, this person seems to be pretty popular. She's following so many people. She has close to 8,000 followers, and she's very, very heavily, an adapter or a user of Twitter. Loves British design, etc. So if I were to dig deeper and see who this person is, I can tell if this person might be interested in the kind of products that I sell. Right, this person is in this geography, in this region, and this is what the person is interested in. Okay, so that is how I can put a word and then search for specific individuals or people who are tweeting about it in different geographies. Right, look at this. She has basically put in a tweet. It's a conversation, and I can also use this. And if there are multiple people who have responded to this particular chain of communication, right? See, look, this person says, again, this person is a fairly powerful influencer, as you can see. This person has a very formidable Twitter presence, and will be getting furniture and solar energy after vacation. So she's talking about this, open 2 more schools in this geography, and there is this conversation happening. 60 people have retweeted it, have liked it. So obviously, if you are looking at furniture sales, and if you are in if this geography is of relevance to you, then this person could be a very powerful influencer. If this person happens to like what you tweet and retweet this, your tweets can potentially reach 18,300 followers, right, and get noticed in a very big way. Or this person says, "Sir, please stop assembling your furniture in the parking lot," right? So this has been liked by 127 people, right? So this is one of the ways in which you can discover who is really the influencer. There is another tool that I can show you called Follower Wonk. Okay. How exactly can we influence them to follow us? Great question, Carol. Hang in there, and I'm going to show this to you in a while. Okay. So this is the tool to discover influencers on Twitter. It's called Follower Wonk. As you can see, this is really what the tool is. I can look at search bios. So search the profiles and bios of people, and then I want to say that I want to look at people who have the word furniture in their bio, but not only their Twitter profiles or bios. I want to look at more options. I want to specifically look for those people who are in Mumbai, okay, or any other city that you might want to propose. What other city you want to look at? Is Mumbai okay, or you want to look at some other geography? Okay, I'll go with that. And if I search, okay, the data below is limited by my current subscription. I haven't yet subscribed, which is okay. I'm not logged in either. But if I just look for people who have something to do with furniture, who are based out of this city in India, then I see 1 to 50 of 131 results. And this has been stacked in a descending order based on the number of followers that these people have. So, well, this company seems to be a powerful influencer. They seem to have a lot of followers, and there's something called social authority, which this tool assigns, right? So the tool assigns this authority ranking based on their own internal parameters on how many shares is this person getting, how frequently does this person tweet, what happens, etc. And this seems to be the statistics. So if I really want people to pick up my messages on Twitter and relay them, and if there are people specifically in Mumbai, then these are the potential people whom I can, you see this, click to learn how to establish an in-app follow and unfollow, or I can just click on this and follow these people. Okay, but if I'm looking at London, there are all these people who tweet or who have an interest in furniture. You can see this, the living room, Tom Dixon Studio, and then there are individuals like Jason Wolf, interior design and furniture blog, breaking architectural and interior design and furniture news. Now, if you want to get your word across to markets in London, then you may want to get this person to follow you, observe what you're tweeting, and if it is of relevance, then Jason is naturally going to pick up that message and retweet it, and become an influencer of your brand if he takes to liking your messages, likes your brand, likes your landing page and your content. And as you can see, there's a list of followers that he has. So that's really what it is. If I remove all these qualifiers, then Twitter basically profiles the most popular people on Twitter, right? It appears that like Katy Perry is the most popular. Then there's Justin Bieber, and then there are a lot of these people, names and businesses and brands that we already recognize. Very, very popular. You have all these names here because I have not looked at a specific criteria. It's an open search, right? This is Katy Perry's Twitter account. I'm not following her, neither is she following me. That's what it is, right? So this tool is very powerful to be able to identify whom to follow, who's following you. And again, if I were to look for people within a specific geography, I want to know who are the most popular profiles in Zurich, Switzerland. I don't put a name, so I'm not looking for somebody with a specific criteria. I'm just randomly searching for the more popular people in Switzerland. And there seems to be these, I don't know who they are, but these seem to be the more popular people there. Or I can remove a location and I can just say, I want to know who are the real influencers in politics. And then it gives me these interesting details. Why am I getting this? Let me see again. Okay, this is because the word politics is mentioned in their Twitter handles, as you can see this, right? Or if I put a general term saying social trends. So it's very, very exhaustive. You can keep doing this all day long, and it gives you this. If you're saying finance or money or investing, or let me just say invest, right? Then these are people and brands that seem to be extremely popular on Twitter, and they are all into invest is in their bio, which is the reason why these accounts seem to have popped up. 50,000 results, about of relevance, showing 1 to 50, right? So this is a very, very powerful way, or you can just change this to, let us say, band. So if you're into music, if you want to sell some software to do with music apps, music downloads, and if you want to look at bands that are popular and you want them to pick up your message, I play in a band, so do other people in my band, and this person, Michael Clifford, as you can see here, is extremely popular, right? And you see this, followers, likes, following. So if you have, let us say, a musical device, a music instrument that you want to sell, and you want this person to, talk about your brand in a positive way, you may want to give, and I'm going to give you some tips on how to build your track of influencers, how to reach out to them, and how to make them, follow you. But if that happens and he chooses to retweet your message, and then you see this, more than 6.26 million followers, and he is following 15,400 individuals or accounts on Twitter. Accounts could be a mix of individuals and businesses, and a very active Twitter himself, right? So Twitter is vast. It's amazingly interesting, and these are some of the things that I avoid spending too much time on because I can very easily get sucked into it. There's so much information and there's so much data and there's so much variety. You can just keep immersing yourself into more and more and more, right? So to keep a discipline around how much time you really should be spending as a business, here is a recommendation. My advice is follow this recommendation for about a week or two when you're still new to using Twitter for business. Once you do that, then you're going to get into a natural rhythm, and then you will know what works best for you. So the idea is to follow for about 15 minutes, listen to conversations, offer your tweets, share information that people have been already putting up, so you engage with the community, and you engage in other ways besides sharing, which is you like, you comment, you you retweet, you can do all of that stuff. So this is a recommended split of time. You do this for some time. You need to do this to basically learn how people are using Twitter, what people are doing, and you will figure out what works best for you in this way. Again, please remember, you have to have very clearly what your goals in mind. Why are you on Twitter? Is it to broadcast a message? Is it to get traffic? Is it to get traffic to your website, or is it to get traffic to your Facebook page? What is it? So depending on the campaign, depending on multiple things, your strategy might be different, and there is no one size fits all, right? So you need to figure out what is going to work best for you and use the account accordingly. With that, we move on to social networks. What is a good social authority number to have? In general, 70 plus is ambitious. If you get 70 plus, that means you are already doing a lot of stuff on Twitter. You're pretty active. Your accounts are being your information is being shared. You are regular on Twitter. You have a lot of followers. But please remember, having a social authority according to follower wonk is not important. What is important is what is the traffic and conversions that you are getting out of your entire Twitter exercise. So what is your goal? If your goal is to get 1,000 followers in a month, then that's your goal. Do what you have to do that. But if you have to really go further ahead, and that again is like likes in Facebook, it is referred to as a vanity metric. It makes you look good. But what really matters is, are you getting the conversions that you desire? Are people clicking on your tweets, coming to the landing page, and doing what you expect them to do? Which is why you also should spend a lot of time observing and following onto the kinds of messages people are tweeting, the kinds of landing pages people are promoting through their Twitter accounts in your industry. It again differs from industry to industry. Right? So in your business, in your industry, what is really happening? Are people using Twitter to get traffic only, or are people using Twitter to get traffic and to encourage them to buy something, or download a document, or fill up a form, whatever that is? Right? So that is what should be your key focus. As you can see, some of the very big brands do not have a ton of followers. They're individual celebrities, entertainment companies, musicians, celebrity chefs, politicians, entertainers. They have a humongous amount of following because they are in a profession which is a public profession, very, very newsy kind of work or jobs that they do. So they generate a lot of curiosity. So it really depends on that. Social networks. What do social networks give you? You can hand pick your connections. You have an access to extended networks. You can broadcast on networks, as we saw on Twitter, and you basically receive communication and information from your networks. It's a two-way dialogue. It isn't a monologue. It isn't a advertiser only platform. It is a conversational platform. So it is like walking into a party. You walk into a party, you know a few people, you don't know a lot of people, you strike up conversations, you understand, that there between you and some stranger there's a common ground, and if that some stranger happens to, extend a business card to you in the real world, saying, hey, it was a pleasure having a conversation, give me a call sometime and we can connect. An equivalent to that on social media is getting fans, is getting likes, social media call center. Yeah. So there are a lot of these things that are emerging now, which is essentially extending your brand's presence beyond the physical into the virtual. And again, please remember, you will keep listening to a lot of interesting new terms because people want to get noticed. So people will coin all kinds of new terms to, for example, growth hacking is the latest buzzword happening in digital marketing. And there's a lot of intrigue, a lot of curiosity around the term growth hacking. In fact, there was a growth hacking meetup that I attended a month and a half back. So these are all new terms, new ways in which people want to get their messages across. In a lot of cases, it is the same, traditional wisdom which doesn't change. How you connect with people in a regular face-to-face interaction is a similar way in which you will connect with people on digital platforms as well. So fundamentals really don't change. It is about adapting to the specific platform. If you're connecting with somebody on Facebook, you can afford to be a lot more casual. If you're connecting with somebody who is definitely a business contact on LinkedIn, you might tend to be a lot more formal than informal, right? So again, the tone depends, which is similar to what you will do in real life. If you go to a party, you will talk about social stuff, you will talk about casual stuff. You might also mix in a little bit of work-based conversations. But if you meet a colleague or somebody in a professional setting, you aren't really going to, you might have some, warm-up contextual conversations like, it was raining on my way to work, or, it's been a long weekend, or those kinds of, small talk, as we call it, to get the ball rolling. But once that happens, then your focus of conversations are a lot more formal. So it depends on the setting. Very similarly, it depends on which platform you're using and, how you create those relationships and that rapport. So social channels give you all these options. You can communicate via multimedia. Right? Go ahead, ask the question, that's fine. Status updates, quick snippets of content, email style message systems. You have all these features typically on your social platforms. Right? So Pankaj, I'm assuming the question that you're asking is in context to a job application where you are applying for a job as a digital marketer. Is that the context? Yeah. So this is tricky, okay? Because on social media, everything is public, everything is open. If you say I am a heavy Facebook user, then anybody can look up your profile on Facebook and see if you're indeed a heavy user or not. So the best way to be able to establish your footprint digitally in those areas is by actually being active on these channels. So that would be the best way to go about it. And of course, in another context, you can also say that I'm new, I'm starting off, but I've attended a Simplilearn course, so I'm certified, I know how to do it. So that is also going to work. Okay. And people understand that if you're looking at based on your profile, you may have or may not have had the opportunity to use every single tool out there. But ideally, people want to look at your digital footprint to tell how much of social channels do you follow. Right. So, for example, I am not very active on Facebook. I am very active on, not very, but quite active on Quora. I'm a lot more active on LinkedIn. I'm kind of active on Twitter. These are the three platforms that I really use. When I'm in the mood, for my casual communication, I use Instagram. I take pictures and I tweet about them, and I put them up on Instagram. I sparingly use Pinterest, but because of all this, I start getting noticed. People reach out to me. People send me invitations. People include me in lists. So that is how your footprint is. You're able to expand your footprint on the digital platform because it's all there for people to see, right? So that's what it is. When you're looking at social media, of course, Facebook is right on top. Immensely large user base. More than, in fact, 3 billion internet connections. There are more than 3 billion internet connections and globally, and 1.5 billion active monthly users on Facebook. So every second person that is on the internet has a Facebook account. That's how you might want to look at it. Facebook is that popular. I'm just seeing if there's anything else that I want to share with you. Okay. So that's Facebook. LinkedIn, extremely popular again. That's become the and the default dynamic resume for today's times. In fact, people use that more than they use their formal resume. So LinkedIn gives you a lot of information. There are over 350 million users worldwide, including 30 million users in India alone. So that is really the power of LinkedIn. it's become like your online Rolodex. So you have those pack of visiting card flippers. So that was in the old times. You might still see that if you go to some of the brick and mortar businesses and offices. But LinkedIn has now become your online Rolodex, so you can quickly skim through your connections, look for connections with specific keywords, look for people, and you have topical groups. And for a B2B marketing, business to business marketing, social media, the most powerful social media happens to be LinkedIn. Very effective way to get in. Again, what are people sharing? Updates, links, images, pictures, connections, videos. So very, very popular. So that's what you typically do on your social media. And why does networking on social media matter? It gives you great exposure. Consumers speak freely. There is a lot of searchable chatter available, and it's great for building your credibility as a brand, as an individual. You can get a lot of click-throughs, a lot of instant conversions, and especially for people who want to share blogs, right? Blogs are informative. So if you're looking at building blog posts on a variety of topics, the top 5, steps to doing this, the top 5 stats in my industry, how to do this, how to do that, or demonstrations of how to use a product, or opinions, or trends, or projections, or articles on information related to your industry. If that's the kind of information that you're blogging about and you want people to come and look at it, one very, very powerful way of doing that is by tweeting the blog URLs using your Twitter account and using the right hashtags. So by doing that, using hashtags on Twitter, you get noticed and people come in and read your blogs. Similarly, you can go to Facebook, you can go to Pinterest, you can go to YouTube and all these channels and drive conversions onto your landing page on your website. These are all the reasons why you want to use, you want to leverage social networking. In fact, in today's times, the way the trends have moved is if you are not on social media, people tend to start wondering, are you trying to hide something? So that's how it is. For blogs, WordPress seems to be the most popular platform out there for 2 reasons. A, the WordPress platform is very, very robust, and some of the leading brands like NASA uses WordPress. Adobe, one of the leading technology companies, they use WordPress to build their own blog. NASA's blog is built on WordPress. So WordPress is, a very powerful platform. B, there are a lot of plugins, tools, and features that are built where with minimal or no programming effort, you can integrate those modules. So you can have an absolutely stunning e-commerce website, very complex website, built fundamentally on WordPress. You can also use Blogger. That is, from a project perspective, the idea is for you to learn concepts. So you use Blogger, you use Typepad, you use any platform for blogging. It's absolutely fine. But if you really want to leverage a blog platform to build a very, very robust platform, to a large extent, WordPress is your solution, especially for non-programmers. Of course, if you have the programming chops and if you want to go and build large websites, large commercial websites or applications, then you go beyond WordPress and you use, regular programming code, and you use other technology platforms like Drupal and things like that. But if you are not very technically heavy, but you want to have a fairly exhaustive website with customer reviews baked in, with SEO, with conversion optimization, A/B testing, and stuff like that, you could potentially go and use WordPress. Well, WordPress depends on what subscription of WordPress you take. Even if you take a free WordPress account and you host it, then WordPress doesn't really charge you that much. WordPress, I built blogs on WordPress for free. What I end up paying is for the domain registration. So if I have www.mywebsite.com and I want to host it on WordPress, then as a hosting service provider, I might pay, a few dollars, a few $20, $30, $40, and I can potentially go and put that up. Yeah, so I see. Okay. Great. So we will get into this link, Pankaj, at the break time. Remind me, because once I get in there, I'm going to get sucked into looking at adding a lot of comments on that. So I will look into that during the break or towards the end of the session. But good that you posted that. I'm sure a lot of the other participants can also draw some inspiration and get some ideas on how you can start working on your project. Good stuff. Okay. Understanding Facebook. So congregation, conversation, and publication of your content. These are the three primary reasons why you want to use Facebook. There are different kinds of pages that you can build as a business or as a brand. Right? If you're a brick and mortar business, for instance, you create a local business or this kind of a page, and then there are different pages. In fact, when we get into our Facebook section, I'm going to go into these pages in detail and walk you through how you go about creating these pages. But fundamentally, what you want to know is that there are these primary types of pages that you can build based on your existing presence. So if you're a celebrity, you use this. If you're a brand like an Apple or a Nokia or something like that, you might use this as a brand page. Each of these pages, the options that you get to build these pages are unique to the page type that you have chosen. That's the reason why there are these many types. If you're a government organization, institution, school, a college, a company, or a bank, then you might want to use this kind of an option. The options that you select once you get into this type of page creation is going to be unique to that particular type of business. And then you have profiles, and I'm sure most of you, in fact all of you, probably has a Facebook profile. If you do not, I would like to know, just put that on your chat. But otherwise, I'm assuming that almost all of you have Facebook profiles, right? So, and you have pages, that's what we saw. Exactly. I mean, even I use Facebook really at a personal level. I don't use Facebook much otherwise. You can build groups, you can build communities. You have what is called as the places page. So if you're a restaurant, you have about 6 branches. You have a restaurant, main restaurant in one location, and you have 5 other branches in different locations across the city, across the world. And each of those pages are the places page for your main brand. That's an example of a places page. So these are the kinds of pages that typically you can build and the kind of presence that you can have on FB. So on social media, what you want to do is find who your fans are and use them to leverage them to spread your word. So you have these kinds of follower types, right? So email your list to invite them to follow. These are some best practices in terms of how you want to find fans and build your social footprint. Okay, email your list, inviting them to follow you on your social media channels. It could be Instagram, it could be Pinterest, Twitter, Facebook, whatever. Include a link to follow you on Facebook, right? In fact, a lot of people do that. People put in their LinkedIn profile links on their email signatures. Companies that respond as customer support departments will typically put their telephone numbers and email ID, which is fine, but they also will now include a link to their social media Twitter handle on their email itself, right? So those are ways in which you want to get traffic to your website or to your social media pages. Right, link from Twitter, from YouTube, insert a widget into a blog. So if you look at, there's a plugin called SumoMe, and let me just show that to you. I think I covered this. Nevertheless, let me do that again. So if you use this, right, it helps you build a plugin or an app that comes into your blog page, and clicking on that, you can actually share that page. So that's what it gives you as a feature. And you can go through all these details to understand really what the features are. It has a lot of installation instructions, how to do this. It's fairly structured. Frequently asked questions, what can you do, etc. Screenshots. of what your screen will look like. So if this is your blog or your page on which you have activated this free plugin, it will look like this. If you take your cursor there, it's going to pop up here, and you can sign up. You can do multiple things. You can share that page. You can put up these kinds of pop-up windows where you want to take leads or take subscriptions, and that's what your leads are. It can integrate with a bunch of other tools. It gives you an analytics of how many people shared that page on Twitter, how many people shared it on Facebook. So you have all those sharing stats, right? How many people forwarded that by email. So there are a lot of features that SumoMe basically enables for you. And of course, you also want to get word of mouth marketing. Facebook fans broadcast. If people like your business, they talk about it. You can give discounts, buy ads, use third-party and YouTube advertising in subsequent modules, where we will spend more time on the advertising part of it, which is the paid way to basically get your fans and to spread the word and to build your conversions and traffic. For a lot of brands, for a lot of businesses, Facebook ends up becoming a secondary home to their brand, right? Why? Because it's highly interactive. Like your blog, the Facebook page now can support a variety of media content, whether it is audio, video, images. You see that being supported. You have a lot of conversations going on around your brand. Yeah. And ultimately, what is so important on your Facebook channel is the central feed. Why feeds are so important? Here are some interesting numbers. Friends and family. In fact, the numbers suggest that people do not really go to your company Facebook page, but if they have liked your page or they have interacted with your page, assuming that you have a company page, then your tweets, and when you get into Facebook, I'm going to talk about the Facebook algorithm on how Facebook decides which feed should be shown onto which individual, which post should be shown on which individuals or which company's news feed organically. So I'm going to get into that in detail. But fundamentally, you want to make sure that your posts are appearing in people's feeds. Why? That's reach, that's unlimited exposure. Again, builds credibility, and it's an ongoing way to build a relationship. Right? This is an example of this brand Smart Party, and they have a fairly vibrant Facebook presence. And where do people interact? These are the places. They click on this, they like, they follow, they share, they message, they post, they look at these, they go into the pictures, they look at the top tweet, or rather the top post, and they've liked. So all of those numbers come up here. This, of course, is the sponsored ad section. Again, you're not unfamiliar to this. If you all have Facebook profiles, you know how the interaction happens on the newsfeed itself. Again, these are the numbers I was talking about. Less than 1% people see the post on the company page. They see the post. The majority of the people end up seeing the post on their own news feeds. Right? So if you make a post, then I see it on my news feed. I don't really come to your page to see that feed. That's what this number is. Right? The more you interact, the more you show up. I'm going to get into those details at the right module, but fundamentally what you want to understand is the more, let us say, you interact with me on Facebook, Facebook assumes that you're important to me and vice versa. So you end up seeing more of my Facebook posts, and I end up seeing a lot more of your Facebook posts based on the number of times we have exchanged each other's information on Facebook. So there's a very complex algorithm that goes beyond, but that's in a very simplistic way. That's really what happens. Which is why you might notice that even if you have 500 friends on Facebook, there are 15, 20 people's posts that you routinely see. You don't see everybody's posts all the time. Okay. And then you also want to put together an ad strategy based on what is it that you want to achieve. Demonstrating the virality in numbers. 100 shares, an average of 130 friends for each person who has shared your message. And that is the potential exposure that your post could potentially get, right? The Facebook ads really worth it? The same question could go for Google as well. So the point is this, right? You got to know how to use it. If you know how to use it well, then you will see the right ROI. So this course is all about that. I'm going to teach you on how you need to, and also based on this, you now kind of get a sense of how you need to build the kind of ads. And oh yes, Facebook ads can be extremely powerful, but again, you need to get the context. For a B2C market, Facebook ads work very, very well. For B2B, the conversion rate may not be that much, because in a B2B session, in a B2B setting, sales cycles are typically longer, and just having an ad isn't going to be enough for somebody to come in and buy a product. But if you're selling a product to a retail consumer or customer, then a Facebook ad can be more productive. Yeah, that's why. So it depends really on the market. I mean, when I'm on Facebook, I keep getting a lot of invitations by brands that talk about, digital marketing seminars, webinars, and things like that, which is my area of interest. So I do pay attention and I do look at those ads. Yeah, that's what it is. So again, on Facebook, if you use the right kind of marketing strategy, then your Facebook ads can be fairly productive. Facebook ads, you see this suggested post, this is marketing stuff. It's come by the brand called Marketo, and then these are also your ads. This is an example of an ad showing in the news feed. So again, an example, if you want to target new contacts, and if this is a post by Rustic Wedding Chic, let me just see if I can show that to you. So this is the brand Rustic Wedding Chic. This is their Facebook page. As you can see, a lot of people have liked it. There are multiple options for engagement and interaction. They've been around since 2009. I can write something and I can put it up there. I can message the page or the brand. I can sign up to their newsletter and subscriptions. These are all the things that I can do. This is data about the brand. And these are messages that they are promoting. So they say, you're so excited to finally be able to share the perfect pair. And as you can see, even on Facebook, you can use these hashtags to get discovered. And if I click on this, this is the page where the conversion is going to happen. Right? So this is a post, and you see this, they have put up a post here. It's coming by the rusticweddingchic.com brand. And they put up some more information. They put this up here. As you can see, there are 13 people who have liked and shared. These are the individuals concerned who have really taken the trouble to share this information or this page. So they seem to be circulating a lot of messages on an ongoing routine basis, right? This is the landing page that we saw on the previous post, and there's an entry form, and in this case, let us say they would typically want you to fill up the form, and the filling up the form could be the goal or the conversion for that particular post, and that's part of this brand's social media strategy. Okay, so in this example, Rustic Wedding has put up a picture of this particular gown, and there's a note here, and this already has been liked by 102 people. And there are a lot of people who've commented on this. So Rustic Wedding Chic might decide that they want to boost this particular post. This post organically got a lot of traction. Now they see that if this is gaining popularity, more and more people seem to be liking this. Now I would like to take this message and use this as an advertisement to attract people on Facebook who do not know me yet. And this is an example of what the targeting for this particular post could look like. So I could choose a location, right down to the postal code or the zip code. I can select the age demographic within which I want to target my audience, whether they are men, women, or otherwise. I can select precise interests. Now, what Facebook does is that based on your own profile details that you have entered, which school you went to, what did you do, which group are you part of, which ice cream do you like, what have you liked, which community are you part of, you are profiled by Facebook, right? Facebook says that you are an individual with these interests, these schools, this education, these preferences, etc., etc., depending on the detail to which you have shared your own information on FB, on Facebook. Now, based on that, if you put in these words, right, weddings, antiques, roadshow, country living, then a lot of these options pop up automatically on the Facebook tool, and then you can look at suggested likes and interests and add them to your target. Now, if you do that, if you keep adding this similar to Pinterest, well, way more powerful. But if you keep adding these options here, as you can see on the right-hand side, your audience keeps growing. And it tells you people who live in the United States, exactly between these ages, who are females or ladies, who like these topics, who are engaged, and who are not already connected, which means you're going beyond your existing fan list. Right, so this is basically the way you build targeting. I will show you where you do this on Facebook. So this is my Facebook personal account, but I could also go into the company page that I manage, right? And let us say I put up a post as a business or as a company. I put up this post. I was invited to speak at a university in India last year. So I'm seeing this, okay? And I want to boost this. I see that this has reached 23 people. There are so many views. People liked it, whatever it is. And I want to promote this. So then I click on Boost Post. Now, as the admin or as the owner of this particular page or this account, I can get to select all those targeting options. If I click on Boost Post, that is one way of doing it. There's also the way in which I can go and create an advertisement. So in this case, you see this, I can say people who have liked my page. Well, when you create a boost, then it is not free. You have to set up a price, a budget. So yeah, this is paid advertising now. You're going beyond organic. We're looking at paid advertising, right? So I'm showing you the targeting or audience targeting. So here you see this. Who should be my audience? Now I've already selected audience 1, which is a profile that I created some time back, and this profile says all this. The location is this, interests are these, age group is this, and if I choose to have my budget of $7 a day, then my estimated reach is 300 to 800 people. If I'm willing to spend $27 a day, my estimated reach is 950 to 2,500 people on Facebook who fit my targeting criteria. You see this? It tells you what is the range. Correct. Yeah. What is the range of yeah, that's what I have. I use that to basically demo a lot of stuff that I do. So this gives you a range of the number of people you can reach and the kind of activity you can do. So you can define the duration should be 7 days, 14 days, or run this ad until this particular date, 30th of June. Okay, and I end up spending this much approximately per day based on the budget that I have selected. And then I choose how I want to pay for this ad. Do I pay in Canadian dollars? Do I pay in British pounds? right? It gives me all of those options. I can add a new method of payment. I can add my credit card. So that is how this becomes a boosted or a sponsored post. On the desktop feed, this is how my page is going to look. My post is going to look like this. It will come up with this word sponsored, right? Or on mobile news feeds, this is how my page will, or the post will look. So if I get into more details in terms of the targeting, then I have already gone through all these options, which is how I've arrived at that potential audience that I could reach. Okay. So that's how you do this. As I said on the post, you look at this, you look at the estimated reach, and that's how you go about promoting. Of course, on the Facebook module, I'm going to give you a lot more details. I'm going to walk you through the steps of creating ads and how you go about creating pages. But this is to give you a quick overall glimpse of how it works. Any questions so far? So Carol, Twitter handle is basically nothing but the name of your Twitter page. That's what it is. It's called as a Twitter handle. Harish is saying, if we create our page, we ask Facebook to increase likes, how to impact our business. As I said, there are multiple things to just getting likes on Facebook. How to ask for likes is also something that I will share with you when we hit the Facebook section in more detail. Okay. In fact, there's a very nice way of asking without having to ask, and we will see some case studies and examples.